guys, welcome to Fantasy Tip and another week of waiver wire recommendations for this weekend. With the season in full swing and the trade deadline approaching, it's important to stay on top of the latest trends and player movements in order to give your team the edge. In this video, we'll be diving into the best waiver wire ads for week 17 on the weekend. Whether you're fighting for a playoff spot or you just want to improve your roster, these pickups will help you make the most of your free agent acquisitions. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into our best options. To start off the show, we'll go over the number of games this weekend. We've got 4 on Friday, 14 on Saturday, that's a heavy schedule, and another 4 on Sunday. We'll start with the busiest section, the Friday and Saturday. We've got a few underwhelming teams and a couple of juggernauts. We have the Arizona Coyotes, the Chicago Blackhawks, the Columbus Blue Jackets, the New York Rangers, the Pittsburgh Penguins, and the Toronto Maple Leafs. At number 1, we have Rickard Rakell, still playing with Sidney Crosby and Jake Wenzel on the Penguins top line. He also plays PP1. He's a great streamer if he's available in your leagues. We also have Michael Bunting playing with Tavares and Mitch Marner on the first line. With Austin Matthews' absence, it's going to be very interesting to monitor the workload this line will have. Bunting is in a great spot for the weekend. We also have Boone Jenner. Boone always ranks really high on my lists due to the fact that he plays with very offensive talented players such as Johnny Gaudreau and Patrick Laine. Add in PP1 time and you got yourself a low rostered percentage, amazing streamer. We also have Max Domi, who's probably the only bright spot in Chicago right now. With Jonathan Taves' injury, Max Domi could be in line for a big weekend. We also have Jason Zucker, plays on a line with Yevgeny Malkin, isn't scared to throw his body around as well. Brian Rust completes the Yevgeny Malkin line. I like Zucker more in my leagues, but Brian Rust is 27% more rostered than Jason Zucker. Philip Hedl makes a case for himself on that Rangers third line. He's got 6 goals, 1 assist, 7 points in the last 4 games, and also 9 in the last 6. At number 8, we have a boomer bust candidate once again with Nick Schmaltz. This guy can hit you with a multi-point performance. He's a very good power play player, but he disappears for long periods of time. Thread carefully. We also have Kai Jarnkrok, who plays on the second line with William Nylander. We have Lawson Krause. Krause is up to 2 goals, 4 assists, 6 points in his last 7 games played. He's a big hitter, a big shooter, and he competes every game. We'll follow up with Kirill Marchenko. Marchenko only has 13 points this season, but all of them were goals. Prior to his 2 pointless games in the last 2 games, he had 4 goals in the last 3. He also plays PP1 with the Columbus Blue Jackets first line. Tyler Johnson, the man just came back from injury for the 1,000th time in the last 2 years. He's got 6 points in the last 7 games he's played in. And finally, Alexis Lafreniere and Capo Caco. The number 1 and number 2 overall picks are learning to play a two-way game right now. And that third line is on fire. They complete Hedl. Lafreniere's got 5 points in the last 5 games. Caco's got 4 points in the last 4 games. And they both play on PP2. Considering there are 28 teams playing on Saturday, the Friday and Sunday section is the most important part of this video. There are only 2 teams playing on Friday and Sunday, and those teams are the underwhelming Anaheim Ducks and the Seattle Kraken. To start off the list, we have Jared McCann. Mr. McCann is freshly engaged, and I have this theory where when a player gets engaged, they just had a kid, they're getting married, everything seems to always go their way. I know it's coincidental, but I like to bet on players who have good things going on in their lives. Also, Jared McCann is up to 23 goals on the season. He is not a bad ad. At number 2, we have Adam Henrique, who plays on the worst team in the league for goals for per game. He also has 7 goals in the last 10 games, which is not bad for a team who can't score that many goals. At number 3, Matty Beniers. Last time I put Beniers on here, he got injured. Let's hope that will switch around this weekend. He's scoreless in the last 6. Expect a bounce back. And we also have Jordan Eberle, who's also been very cold in the last month, but I like him better than almost all the Anaheim Ducks forwards. Right under, we have the second Ducks player of the list, Mason McTavish. The rookie centers the second line. What a player this guy is going to be eventually. We also have Yanni Gourde. Gourde silently has 32 points on the season, playing on that fast Kraken third line. And to finish the list, I put Jaden Schwartz. I'm not a big fan of Schwartz in fantasy due to his low peripherals, but I don't like the Ducks players, and I wouldn't bet on them. I like Schwartz more than I like the Ryan Strome, Frank Vetranos, and Max Comtois of this world. Little side note, at the time of filming this video, Andrei Burakovsky is on the shelf. If he's back by the weekend, I would insert him somewhere in the top 3, top 4 of this list. For the Saturday and Sunday section, we have a couple of Canadian teams in the Edmonton Oilers and the Montreal Canadiens. We also have the Philadelphia Flyers and the Washington Capitals. At number 1, Kevin Hayes, low-key having the best season of his career. He's already up to 45 points. We also have Dylan Strome, who just got his new deal and keeps getting line 1 minutes with Alex Ovechkin. Even though he plays on the second power play, Dylan Strome already has 14 power play points. We also have Kirby Dach. With all the Canadiens' injuries, Kirby Dach is the player who's really been stepping up lately. He's got 4 points in the last 4 games since Cole Caulfield got injured, so that's a non-factor right now. At number 4, Nicklas Backstrom. Maybe I'm living in La La Land, but I'll advise everyone to be patient with Backstrom. He just got back from LTIR not long ago. He's not at his best yet, but I'm confident it will come right in time for fantasy playoffs. How can I not put my favorite player, Scott Laughton, once again? Laughton has played over 21 minutes, 36 seconds in 4 of the last 5 games. That's a big workload for a centerman. Owen Tippett completes the Kevin Hayes and Scott Laughton line. Tippett has an amazing shot. We also have TJ Oshie, who's playing on a line with Nicklas Backstrom and on that Capitals PP1. Follow up with Marcus Johansson, who completes the TJ Oshie and Nick Backstrom line. Johansson is also on that PP1. I also put Mike Hoffman. Hoffman has 9 goals, 9 assists, 18 points in 37 games. That's approximately a point every 2 games. But what really gets me is he's on that PP1 in Montreal. And even though he looks like a ghost sometimes and makes a lot of defensive mistakes, Hoffman is a phenomenal offensive player if the other team gives him space. Connor Sheary, low peripherals, but plays on the first line with Alex Ovechkin. Josh Anderson. Now, here's a bizarre player. Josh Anderson went 5 games without recording a single hit and then followed up the next 4 with 21. The man has 3 goals, 2 assists, 5 points in the last 7 games. At number 12, Morgan Frost. Frost has been downgraded from the first line recently onto the third, but he still has 6 points in the last 10 games. And for deeper leagues, we have Ryan McLeod, a fourth line guy who's compiled 6 goals in the last 10 games, plays a little bit of PP2 with Evander Kane, and Dylan Holloway, who is the new plug-in to play with Connor McDavid on that line 1. It's worth noting he only has a very little 9 points in 47 games on the season. Now on to defensemen. At number 1, Erik Gustafsson, who's really been looking like the 2018-2019 version of himself. Just like Backstrom, Oshie, and Johansson, Erik Gustafsson completes that dangerous Capitals PP1 with Alex Ovechkin. Right under, Seth Jones. Big-bodied defenseman on a very bad team. take it or leave it. Be aware of the differential here, but he's a solid points guy and he can quarterback a power play. At number 3, Jeff Petrie. I told you guys to hop on him when he was injured. What a fantasy gem. Even behind Chris Letang, he shoots, he hits, he blocks, he does everything. In the last 6 games, as a sample, he's compiled 4 assists, 2 on the power play, 16 shots, 26 hits, and 9 blocks. That's a guy you want on your team. We also have Cam Fowler, who's up to 26 points on the season. Michael Matheson, he hasn't proven much so far with the Canadians and the injuries, but he plays top minutes, plays PP1 and PK1. He will get his chances to get on the scoreboard. John Klingberg remains John Klingberg. Big shot. If he decides he wants to play, he can be a big ad for the weekend. Rasmus Sandin getting better and better with the Toronto Maple Leafs. He plays on that PP2 spot right now. We also have Cam York, who's another defenseman that's on the PP2, but in Philadelphia. He can block a lot of shots. He can be useful for deeper leagues. And finally, Evan Bouchard. Scoreless in the last 8. Shocked that he's still 50% rostered. To me, this guy's a drop in many leagues, but he does have the back-to-back this weekend and could be an option if another manager got tired of him earlier in the week. For the Sunday goalie streams, Charlie Lindgren has the easier matchup with the San Jose Sharks. I expect the Capitals to press on the accelerator until the end of the season. This is a very experienced team. Followed up by Stuart Skinner if Jack Campbell plays Saturday. Skinner is a good plug for Sunday night to play against the young Habs. On the backside, in my opinion, Jake Allen should start against Edmonton. And he's a better pick at home than Sandstrom or any San Jose goaltender for that instance. Keep a close eye on Aiden Hill if he gets the start against the Ducks. If he does and Thompson sits, Aiden Hill could definitely be the play here. But don't go add Aiden Hill before Sunday, before knowing that he gets the official start. Now let's go with the category leagues. We'll start with the shots. At number 1, Boone Jenner, of course, again, averaging 3.1 shots a game. Ricard Raquel averages 3 shots a game. Followed up by Frank Vetrano and Kevin Hayes at 2.9. Seth Jones averages 2.7 shots a game. Brian Rust, Oliver Bjorkstrand, and Owen Tippett at 2.6. And TJ Oshie at 2.3. For the block categories, we got Ivan Provorov averaging 2.3. David Savard averaging 3 blocks a game. Trevor Van Riemsdyk, who I added last Sunday and he got me 2 goals. Thank you very much, Trevor. Averages 2.1. Connor Murphy and Marcus Pedersen averages 2.1. Rasmus Ristolainen at 2.2. And Mark Giordano at 1.9. For the hit categories, at number 1, we've got Big Nick Delaurier averaging 4 hits a game. Josh Archibald averaging 3.7. Michael Pezzetta at 3.5. Garnet Hathaway at 3.4. Jeff Petrie and Jack McBain also at 3.4. We have Martin Fehervary at 3.3 and Arberg Jekai at 3.2. And to finish off the category sections, we're on to Faceoffs. At number 1, once again, Boone Jenner, who by the way is only 33% rostered. He pops out on the list every time Columbus has a doubleheader on the weekend. He averages 11.4 faceoffs per game. His teammate Sean Corrali, a little less at 7.7. Alex Wenberg at 7.5 for the Kraken. Scott Lawton and David Kampf at 7.4. We have Jeff Carter at 7.3. Max Domi and Nick Bjugstad at 7.2. Christian Dvorak also has 7.2. And finally, Barrett Hayton, who averages 6.8. It's worth noting that in one of my first waiver wire ad video, he was averaging almost 5 faceoffs per game. Well, folks, that's all for this week's fantasy advice that I got for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe to make sure you never miss a beat with us. And remember, if you're not winning your matchup this week, See it as a preparation for the playoffs. See it as a warm up. And I wish you guys to get all the gold in the world. Keep on playing, keep on smiling, keep on grinding, and keep on subscribing. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you guys.